Hello, everybody. Tommy here, World at War Comics, and my next special guest is writer, creator, Mr. Paul Thayer. Paul writes Project Naosis. Man, you got to check this out. Right now, they have a Kickstarter going on for issue number 5. So check it out. Paul is one of the best indie comic writers there is. I guarantee you've met him at a Comic Con if you go to Comic Cons because he is everywhere throughout the year. So here is Paul. But before we get into that, I would love for you to check out our current Kickstarter for Kingsville issue 3. In fact, I got the trailer here. It's only 30 seconds. Check it out. If you're interested, the link is right there. I'll also have it below in the description. All right, everybody, enjoy my conversation with Paul.
Betrayal cuts deep, and power corrupts entirely. As Psychodome fuels the rise of superhumans, Kingsville faces its deadliest fight. A war where survival is the only victory.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to World at War Comics. Back again, my good friend, Mr. Paul Thayer. Paul, thank you for being with me, man. Exciting news. Project Naosis is going really strong, man. Episode 5 coming, man. How's everything going with you, my friend?
Everything's been going really well. We just finished the whole con circuit, and now we're focusing all online. And we have this amazing Kickstarter for our 9th Kickstarter, and we just hit 100 backers today, so we're going strong.
Yeah, you're like really close to funding too, man. I think 13 days left. You're right there, bro. It's so close, man. So
Yeah, this time I usually always do like a logo, like 500, 1,000, 2,000. This is the most we ever. Oh no, I think we did 4,000 the first one, but then this is like one that we're really like building up the market for and just seeing if we can hit a bigger number because I fund everything prior, so the books are pretty much 90% done before these Kickstarters start. So pretty excited.
yeah, you should be, man. The way episode 4 ended with the big cliffhanger at the end, would be really excited to see what happens, man. We got kind of a glimpse on that last page that we could be seeing Crimson Payne coming back.
Yeah, so Crimson Payne, every time he shows face inside Project Naosis, he brutally murders every single person he comes to contact with. And for the first time ever, we're having Project Naosis versus Crimson Payne. And
Yeah.
we're going to see how that works out. I have some preview pages on the Kickstarter, but anything that will spoil anything. And, it's going to go down. This is a big moment for Project Naosis.
Yeah. No, you don't mess around, man. If someone dies, they usually die pretty brutally and they don't come back, man. So a lot of stakes every time you read your titles, and I think that's why it's so popular, man. Real
Yeah, I
stakes,
appreciate
not
that.
gonna show up down the road and they were like frozen or whatever. It's pretty cool, bro. It's cool.
Yeah, the whole point is superhero sci-fi with no multiverse or do-overs. I take great inspiration from things like Mortal Kombat. So if you don't see a fatality, assume they're alive. And there's been situations where you don't see that fatality. And for example, like that character Banshee, she came back and now she's matured from the damage taken from the books. Like that's one thing I'm making sure we're sticking with. Like however damage works, I want the characters to grow like similar how it is to like anime. Whereas like the book from season 1 to like season 6, the characters like are different, just from structure or like scars and stuff. So I want to have that in Project Naosis as well.
That's awesome, man. Well, it definitely comes through, and I think that's why you're so successful with it. With all the cons that you've been to, man, when's the first con? And you have one like already built out in January?
Yeah, so in January we have just two pop-up ones. I'm doing one in it's called WildCon in Jersey, and then there's another one, Garden State Winterfest. And then February I am free, and then March we're starting to ramp everything up, and then April we have C2E2 Awesome Con. I just got booked for San Diego Comic-Con. And of course New York and all the other events that we already got approved for. San Diego approved me a couple weeks ago, which was awesome. It's great to like know everything in advance because small press is a little different. You gotta like send your books in every year. So I'm happy I have a good relationship with them. They're just like, yeah, you're in. So
Hey, man, congrats. That's awesome. That's awesome. So you have some con covers that you're doing for both San Diego and New York?
So definitely, I'm doing one for Terrificon,
Oh,
and I'm
cool.
gonna make that. So Terrificon, I'm confirmed for that as well. And I talked to Mitch, who's the head guy of that, and he gave me permission that I can use the Terrificon logo. So I'm gonna do something really cool for that one. San Diego, possibly. It just matters on when we figure out or which books we're gonna have out
Yeah.
for the time.
So I got the Mickey Mouse one the last time you were in San Diego, which was really cool, man.
Yeah, Steamboat Willie, Steamboat
Steamboat
Willie. So
Willie,
we don't get
yeah.
in trouble. Yeah, so we did a Steamboat Willie cover. That was one of 100. It was gonna be one of 200, but I only printed 100, and we just kept it at that. And
Don't print
then
anymore, bro.
that one did really well. Our next big exclusive is the one that we have on our Kickstarter. It's just 200 copies. Our cover C.
Mhm.
And I'm looking to do more like fun covers like that too, like the Steamboat Willie covers, because it does bring people in. Like I did have a couple people from San Diego that just bought it because they work from Disney or they work from somewhere and they just thought it was cool and they would like to like have it there. Like,
Yeah,
Steamboat Willie with dual blasters is pretty sick.
it was pretty sick, dude. I love that cover, man. I know it's so cool, man. I love that you do that too, bro. Yeah, that's awesome, man. I love the variant covers. Always a lot of fun, man. So Project Noasis, man, I keep pronouncing it wrong too. Naosis. Is
Yeah,
that
Project Naosis. It's all good. You can pronounce it however you like.
Yeah, I
It's a
always say
cool word.
Naosis, man, because that's how I read it when I'm reading it, bro. But such a good title, bro. You're very talented, Mr. Paul. Congrats on all your success, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, we're putting a lot of work into these. Like I said, this is our ninth Kickstarter. This is our ninth Kickstarter. We've done two Indiegogos. All of our campaigns previous are fulfilled. This is the ninth book in the world of Project Naosis. So we did Project Naosis 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we did the Omegas that we have 2 issues out. And then we have our Crimson Payne one shot. And we have a big year coming for 2025. Of course, we will have the episode 5 shipped in the first 2 months. We have a one shot with 2 of the characters that debuted in these last 2 issues, Voltage and Imperium. I have a full book done by them.
Oh wow.
It's a 28-page one shot that I'm just sitting in my Dropbox that will release next year. And then we also have Lethal Leopard, which we were talking about prior. I teamed up with Eric Arndit. He was known as Enzo Amore in WWE. He now goes by Real One, and me and him are collaborating on a comic book series called Lethal Leopard, where he basically transforms into this giant Anubis. And for some reason, he's in the underworld and he has to escape the underworld to go back to Earth. And we're going to see how that works out. And everything we're doing, we put a lot of effort in. And it's been extremely fun to get all these books out. I'm definitely at least releasing 4 books from my publishing company next year, possibly more, depending on how successful each one does.
That's crazy, man. For an independent creator, that's a lot, bro. That's a lot, man.
One man team. I have all artists that work for me, but I'm the one packaging, I'm the one designing, I'm the one getting all the stuff done and hire all the teams. And of course, all it takes is funds. The more funds we get, the easier things will be. We just did New York Comic Con where I was featured in Forbes. If you check that one out, I got featured in Forbes for that. For my booth, I was the only creator that was featured in Forbes for New York Comic Con, so that was extremely special too. For a lot of more people taking notice of what we're doing.
Yeah, yeah. Well deserved, man. Well deserved. Well, let's take a look at the Kickstarter right now. Let me pull it up. Bear with me for a second. Boom. All right, here we go. All right.
Yeah, just hit 100 backers. So first things first, our all of our Kickstarters, the most we ever raised in one day was around $900, and this one we did $1,732 in the first day, which is monumental. It's a big
Nice.
improvement,
Yeah.
and this is the most backers we've had for single issues already. Like our last campaign, for the single issues, I'm pretty sure it was only like 16 or 17 units, and I'm pretty sure those are at like 21 each right now with 13 days to go. I just took off like the bigger tiers. Sometimes we do customized character pages and stuff like that. I took all that off, so it's a really cheap buy-in. For $5 you're getting a digital copy, and for $10 you're getting a single issue. And then if you want everything that we had in Project Naosis, you pay $50, which is basically it is the retail rate of what our trade paperback is, and you get the 2 newest books with it. So I'm trying to get the readers in, because I know once I get them,
Yeah.
we got them for good. Because out of that 100 backers, I think it was 78 were 2 or more backers previously to my books, which is crazy. So it's just about more eyes that need to come on board with us.
Yeah, I mean, if you like, Well, obviously great stories, but if you like a lot of action, man, this title is nonstop action, bro. Nonstop. It's pretty brutal in episode 4, man. When they're who's the guy they have in the chair and he's not talking, let him know where the shipment's at. And then he goes to even tell him, okay, okay, I'll talk. And he didn't say the right thing and lost his other hand before he could even tell him. So yeah, it's pretty brutal, bro. I love it.
So that was the thing, right? And that's like the lines I want to blur. Like this is a universe, but like Project Naosis was supposed to be a super classified unit of soldiers to kill off this rising rebellion. So these guys are real soldiers or mercenaries trying to free the world of this terrible rebellion that's coming. And in the first 2 pages of episode 4, which is our kickoff to volume 2, there's now that people think superheroes are back because Project Naosis fought on the streets of San Diego, that everyone's like, oh, these are superheroes. And I want to show you they're not really superheroes. Like that reaction, like you said, like I thought a lot of people would go, oh, these guys are evil, huh? I'm getting a lot of like, yeah, you better not talk back to Omega. Like Omega's gonna chop your hands off. I'm like, dude, that's crazy, which is cool. It's all about perspective.
Sure.
But I wanted to show you that, this is war, and the same way we do war or other countries do war, it's that same type of feel, but of course there's superpowers involved. So
Exactly, yeah. No, it was pretty dope, man. And it's definitely morally crossing some lines, and you could see in a couple characters are starting to like, wow, they're calling me a hero. I'm not sure I'm the hero that they're calling me, right? So I love that part too.
And that's a place I want to gander with, because it's a lot of like, it's heavy action, right? And these guys are ripping through people. Like there's hundreds of people are dying sometimes every couple pages from them just fighting.
Yeah.
And for some people, that's easy for them. And some people over time, it's going to do damage to them. And, it's how these characters start to develop from this world will really develop who are the true heroes and who are the true villains of this universe. So yeah, I like that. Everyone has a different spin on, how these characters are doing. And a lot of people like Crimson Payne, which is crazy. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people love this guy. This guy killed 90 million people in the first issue. And they're like, I'm getting a lot of posts that go like Team Crimson Payne, Team Crimson Payne. I'm like, yo, it's crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of sickos out here, bro. I kind of like him though. It's pretty awesome, man. He's pretty dope. All right, man. So let's jump through it, man. Walk us through what is available here. We're on the campaign now. Let's go to let's look at the front page right here first. You can see some of the artwork.
Yeah, so our artist, Sammy Marquise, he's been on with me since Omega 2090. He did those 2 prequel books with me, and I loved his artwork so much that I was like, hey, let's just do the main line. So he's been with us since Project Naosis 2. He's been with us ever since, and his artwork is phenomenal. The colorist is Prasad Rao, who's doing a lot of work with DC and other independent people now, and he kills it with this. The colors pop for his art. It works magically. And yeah, we have a great team. And then my letterer, Pete Carlson, he'll be lettering this book along with the production. He helps me file and size everything and does all those things that I don't know how to do, So we have a great campaign. So the artwork that you see on the campaign, when you go to our Kickstarter, it is the same artwork that you're going to see in the book. There's no finagling. There might be panels from other books, but it's still the same exact artist.
Yeah. Exactly.
So basically Project Naosis was a unit that's classified. Now they are no longer classified. We kicked off volume 2 with episode 4, and now we're on episode 5. And we have interior pages that we're showcasing here. We have Hell Satan Banshee going face to face, and we're going to see who wins that battle in this issue. And then alongside that, we finally get Crimson Payne taking on Project Naosis. And if you look through the campaign, you see that he has a fleet with him. This is no joke. This is going from a very small rebellion to actually, wait, this might be something very different than what I've been teasing for the last couple of issues, where you usually only see Crimson Payne doing things alone or small groups of people. Now you're actually seeing that, there's business going on.
There's definitely business going on. I love it, man. I love it. Pretty cool.
So yeah, that's going to be a double page spread. We have new characters in here debuting. That's Imperium. I'm so excited to show him. Super cool character. Those 2 characters, Imperium and Voltage, are going to be the guys that have the one shot. And then three cover options. Our cover A is always by our interior art team. So Samuel Marquise and Prasad Rao. It's Crimson Payne fighting Lithium and Omega in the air. Can't get any cooler than that.
Looks dope too.
Cover B, we have Ken Marion. He does amazing work for DC Image. He just recently did a Kickstarter too. And I loved his artwork when I saw him at a convention. It was Garden State Comic Fest, and it was like June. And I was like, dude, I need you on a cover. And I thought of a video game cover. I always wanted to do a video game. And of course, I can live through that by doing an awesome cover. And we got that one together. It's probably one of my favorite covers we've ever done. It just looks so crazy. It looks so cool. And he's super talented. So I'm happy we got him on a cover for this issue.
That Mortal Kombat fandom coming out of you, huh?
Kickstarter exclusive. We usually never do like real major exclusives, but this one's going to be with no trade dress. You get 200 copies. We're never printing that again. It's Omega showcased in the water, ready to put a fight down on whoever's coming his way. And that's by Corey Hampshire. Corey Hampshire has done lines and inks for us on episode 0. And then he's also done tons of covers for us. He's a good friend and super cool guy.
That's awesome, man. Looks good.
Rewards, $5, get digital, $10 single issues. The variant, 20. And then, you can go from there. If you're a digital person, you can get 0 through 5, which is, over 174 pages for $25. You can get all 3 covers for $40. And if you want all of what Project Naosis, which is the catch up, it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So you get the volume 1 trade paperback along with the 2 newest issues for $50. If you go on my website, the trades are $50. You're getting a good steal on this Kickstarter for joining us, because I know you guys will enjoy it. So that's a great tier to go with. And then if you want everything for $80, you get our trade and you get 5 single issues of the other stories that we have out in the Project Naosis world, which is one of the ones I recommend. I would say either get everything, or you can easily, get episode 5 and add episode 4. You read it, episode 4. I tried my best to make it new reader friendly. I'm reintroducing you into the world, into every volume, or every 2 volumes. We're going to try to do that. Because that was a big thing I have with, a lot of comic books. Like, it sometimes gets scary when you see a number 4, or a number 17, or a number 300. I know that. I feel that. So I want to make sure every volume you can pick up from the volume and like, okay, this is what's going on. This is what we're doing. Okay, let's go do that.
Sweet, man. That's awesome. And you got V doing one?
Yeah. So he did the cover B, and then we have the original lines and inks for sale for $3K. Any big ballers out there, you can have that. Otherwise, it's mine.
Yeah, exactly. No, he's so awesome, man. Incredible.
Yeah, he's super cool. Everyone's super great that's doing the books with us. Everyone's super passionate about it. You can add on tons of things too. We have our one shot, which just follows our main villain, Crimson Payne. Crimson Payne one shot. Add that on for $10. Steals, guys. These books are anywhere from 24 to 40 pages, and you're getting them for $10. Anywhere else on Kickstarter or Indiegogo, you're paying a minimum of $25, and it comes in 7 years. For me, it'll come in 3 months.
I love it, man. Yeah, these are dope, dude. These are dope.
A lot of cool stuff. We have Omega 29 year prequel. Episode 4 is a great add-on as well. A lot of great places to start. And, we're really just in the beginning phases of our company. We're really a year strong into the LLC, and I've been doing this about 4 years now. It's just writing in general, putting out these books. And, I fund everything with my company. And that's how we're able to get these books out prior, or at least have 90% done, is because we do well at the conventions. And, we've really been pushing this product out there for all readers and new readers alike.
Yeah. No, I see you at conventions, man. You and the wife don't play around.
No, we can't, because if you leave, then you don't buy a book. And if you don't buy a book, how would you know about us? Because we're all direct to consumer. So we do campaigns, we do Kickstarters, but we're all direct to consumer. So you projectanalysis.com, we ship all the books right to your door, despite doing campaigns. And got a lot of cool stuff, man. And I'm trying to do more cool things. This is going to be an ongoing series. We are going for, 35 issues, at least on Project Naosis. So, we're going.
I love it, bro. It's so fun, man. So awesome. Here you all with a lot of great people. Look at that, man. What a spread, bro. How many conventions did you do this year?
Definitely like minimum 12. This year I'm probably doing close to 20, if not more. I do sometimes these pop-up ones too in Long Island and stuff. That I do once a month. So I'm at least that's just 12 right there. You know what I mean? And then I'm doing all the big shows and a lot of local stuff in Jersey. We're trying to move that paper. We're trying to get these books going. The more books we get, the cooler things we do. And that's why I'm able to have Project Naosis, and then of course my first book out of Project Naosis with my publishing company, Lethal Leopard, it's cool stuff, man. We're doing it. We're gonna do tons of more cool stuff. I'm in this for the long haul. I am not going away. I am pushing through into this industry until Marvel or DC hires me, and then I'll still do this with that.
I love it, bro. I love it, man. 13 days ago, already had 100 backers. Man, you're like $132, something like that, left
Yeah.
to hit your goal. So no doubt in the next day or so you'll hit that, and hopefully you go over, man. And that way you have enough to fund everything that's coming up next, man.
Yeah, I put the 3,500 as a target, really where, for educational purposes, really 8,000 is where we're profiting off the pre-order. Otherwise, it's all my investment in there. So really once we're able to get to that mark, that's when I know, we got this, and we still do like whatever. I think it was 80% of the people being returning backers is insane. It's the holiday season. I try to mix up everywhere. People say don't release in November. I say let's do a Kickstarter in November. People say don't do January. I'm gonna do January. I want to see it firsthand how each month does. You got to test the waters yourself. Because my book is superhero sci-fi. There's really not too much superhero sci-fi out there, at least in the Kickstarter Indiegogo market,
Mhm.
and at least at this regular basis, which I'm trying to do every 3 to 4 months.
Yeah, yeah. No, the consistency also helps you too. Because the one thing about indie is you might enjoy something today. It could be a year before you get that next issue. So the consistency that you have, man, is super fan friendly, I think, which is awesome.
And that happens a lot of conventions. People come up to me and they'll say, "Hey, like, are you sure you're going to be here next year?" I always hear that. They're like, I'm looking for the guy from last year." I'm like, dude, trust me, I am going to be here. I
Yeah.
have to be here. This is my passion. I love comic books. I pick up books, weekly, if not more than that sometimes. And then always reading, always improving. And I love the current stuff that's out now too. This is my way of breaking in and doing my thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, for sure, man. Well, congratulations, Paul, man. This is dope as hell. I cannot wait to get my issue 5 so I can stay up with the story. I think I have just about, there's more stuff over here, but I got everything I think you've made so far, including a couple variants, man. And I love it, man. You're creating an incredible universe. You're definitely at the top of your game when it comes to indie creators, man. And you follow through, bro. You don't mess around, man, which I like. I got Kickstarters that I backed a year ago and I still haven't got anything yet. So, you're super consistent, and I think as a fan, I appreciate that.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Like I know if with doing the model that I'm doing, which is, every 3 to 4 books on Kickstarter a year and releasing them, that people are gonna see that and they're gonna be like, okay, because a lot of people do get burned. I backed 12 books you can see on my account, and one I've never received. It's been years, but 11 for out of 12 is good. I know some people though that 4 or 6 of them people aren't getting in the time that even they wanted. And I'm really trying to break that mold because it's such a great platform, Kickstarter. It's such a great platform, Indiegogo, in these places. And as long as you're showing up for the community that's there for you, it's just going to constantly grow, which we have been. Biggest first day launch. We've already beaten single issue units from our last Kickstarter. And with 13 days left in what is the worst time of the year to do a Kickstarter, we're doing good.
Yeah.
I definitely think we're gonna do over 5,000. And that would be the most we've ever done on Kickstarter. And then we go from there.
Yeah. Well deserved, man. Well deserved, Paul. And then we got, right after this, man, when does Lethal Leopard go live?
I'm thinking February.
Okay.
We have like 43 followers on the pre-launch. So Kickstarter pre-launch, check out Lethal Leopard. You'll see this giant Anubis character with a sword to check out. And that artist is going to be the same artist that does the interiors. I'm looking to do it in February. But I really want to market it the right way.
Yeah.
Me and Real One, Eric, we're gonna make a lot of videos for it. We're gonna shoot content. He's been traveling a lot for wrestling.
Yeah.
There it is. I really want to go in there because with my Kickstarters now, like I went in, I think this one with 140 pre-launch followers. Like I really want to go more with that because it really just makes that first day so much better when you launch. Like people just they're ready to roll, ready to get it done, and he has a really big following, and he's never done something like this. So I know marketing it the right way, we should do very well. You know,
Yes.
we should
Yeah.
do very well. And I see how it is even with him at a convention. People freak out over him. I got the nice like now I would say when I go to a convention, even at these big ones, I would say like 20% of the people that come to my table know who I am. Otherwise, the other 80% of people I'm
You're selling.
bangs out trying to sell. Um, with him, it's like every person is like, oh my God. So, and that's weird. And that's weird to see, like, cause I'm not, used to that. And I'm just like, oh, cool. And we're handing out these flyers and, we handed out a good 1,000 of them at New York Comic Con. And we're looking for February launch. We already have, so of this, we already have like about 8 pages done already.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it's going to be a 20-page book. This book's going to be a little different. I might do like, hey, you're going to get it in 6 months. Usually I do for at least Project Naosis. Everyone gets their books in 2 months.
Yeah.
This one I put 3 just to be like generous because things can happen. Things can go wrong. And I still probably will ship them all out by February. But like with this one, I might do a little more because Igor's doing crazy detail with this book, and I really like the effort that he's putting in this. And I don't really want to rush anything because when you rush stuff, it doesn't come out well. But yeah, this one we're looking to release in February, and I definitely see it doing really well. I think the character design's super awesome. We had a lot of fun with this. He looks really cool. It has nothing to do with Project Naosis. So this is the God world. There could be a multiverse. There could be whatever in this thing. This is my first book launching outside of Project Naosis from the Visual Vibration company, which is really cool.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. Well, can't wait for that one as well, my friend. Especially with Eric, man. That would be dope. That will be dope.
Yeah, he's super cool. And it just happened like we were at New York Comic Con and I was talking to him and he was like, hey, that's really how it started. He's like, put me in there. You wanted to be in Project Naosis. And I was like, great idea. Let's talk about it. And then we thought of our own idea. You know what I mean? So,
even better, man. Even better.
yeah. Just because like we were just sitting down, we were thinking of like some ideas to do. And it was just like 2 hours going back and forth, saying the craziest things to each other. And then I was like, okay, I took all these notes down. I was like, I'll get a script done in like a week. And I came back to them and they're like, let's do that. And I like how the character designs, we do the character designs together. Of course, we have an artist that does it. Igor has been doing great on all the character designs and he's been posting everything too. And it's dual approved for his likeness. It's really like kind of what he wore in, wrestling and stuff. And it's just like beefed up. So I definitely think comic fans and wrestling fans will really dig it.
Yeah. So there will be some wrestling references throughout the book, you think, or no? Or can you say it yet?
Definitely. I'm gonna try to do moves, but he has a giant sword, right? And this character, this Anubis character, has powers, so he's gonna be fighting demons and other things that are gonna be crazy. Like I really wanted it like Project Naosis, and I know it's crazy to say this, but even crazier, because it's just like I kind of have like the physics kind of in Project Naosis, and like I try to ground it as best as I can, even though there's so much like chaos. I want this to be the craziest thing you read, So like I'm really excited.
I want to see him shove his sword into the ground and then suplex someone onto his sword, bro.
That's cool.
Yes.
you know what I mean? Like
boom, put the handle into the ground, grab him, boom, right on top of the sword, man. Let it go right through him.
Like and do a power bomb. Daniel Warren Johnson. That book's phenomenal. Like the way those moves that he does in is awesome. And then he does that with Transformers. He sneaks in the pile driver.
He had a German suplex, and I think in issue 1 or 2.
Yeah, German suplex. Things like that. And it's the same thing like how The Rock would do it in his moves. Like, of course, we're gonna have to put some moves in there.
Yeah.
But it's definitely crazy. I released some snippets on the Instagram of like the lines and inks of some of the panels. It's crazy. I can't believe the work Igor's doing for this, because he did a cover for us. He did this cover for Project Naosis, and it's sick, you
Nice.
know.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, what do I do with it? You know, I need to do something else with him. We were just going back and forth to me and him, and I was like, hey, I think I had this great idea, and I think you would do great with it. I was like, but just do this cover first. Let me see, like you know how it is. And we did that, and I'm just like, okay, this is done.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm super excited, man. We got a lot of stuff coming, and the bigger we are, like I said, the more books we can put out. And you know, I want to get to the point where I put out a book every other month for my company, and that only goes with the people supporting. And know when you support, you're supporting someone who loves comics, loves the medium, and just wants to put out good content. You know, no problems or politics involved. We
Yeah.
are all here to make just great comic books. You know,
Yeah.
I'm such a fan, you know, like everything that's coming out, I read, you know, Absolute Batman, Spawn, all that stuff. Big fan. Geiger, big
Yeah.
Ghost Machine fan.
Oh, Ghost Machine's killing it right now with their titles. So good.
Yeah, they're killing it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like I read that stuff. I also see like a lot of people that are in the indie market. They go, "Oh, I don't do stores, or I don't pick up the books." I think the stuff's the best it's ever been. You know, so like ever, and that's how I know people aren't reading it, because they go, "Oh, there's nothing good out." I was like, "Dude, Ghost Machine's
Dude.
great, Spawn's great,
Yeah.
Absolute Batman's great. A lot of the Marvel titles are great. I like the Deadpool team up, Rob Liefeld's last book. All those books are really good." And
Yeah.
the art is phenomenal, you know.
Um,
So I want books that pair up with them.
yeah. I think you're doing it, my friend. Definitely doing it, Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We're trying, you know. I'm seeing the artists that are on there too, and they're following me on Twitter and stuff. And now I can finally message people and be like, "Hey, do this cover for me," and people actually say yes, which is cool. Like it was the same thing with V. I
I
met
just
him,
had him
right, and
on
he's
the
like,
podcast not too long ago, man. I'm a big fan of his. You know, he does Green Lantern, and he is like next level good artist, dude.
yeah, he was telling me he had a secret project. Everyone loves doing the secret project with me, and it was Green
Now
Lantern.
you know it's a civil course, yeah.
But even with him, and I love saying this, and I hope you don't mind, but it's like, so he bought the book, of course, at one of the conventions, but you know, a lot of people don't read it, you know, they sometimes just get it when you're talking and stuff like that, or it goes on the pile. And he agreed to do the cover. And then I can see the day from when he was just talking to me, and then when he actually read the book. Because when he read the book, he's like, okay, we're doing this, you know, like I like this character. This is
Yeah.
how much we should sell this for, versus before it was just like, just yeah, do this cover, you know. And
Yeah, so
he loves it too, which is great. Like I have every person that's working on the books are enjoying the content that they're putting on the books. And I would love for him to, of course, to do some interiors one day as well. So
yeah,
his art's off the hook, and it just meshes. You know, I'm definitely gonna pick up his Green Lantern. I picked up all of his covers he did for the Ghost Machine. He had some sick covers for
really.
that too, for
And
like Red
also
Coat guy.
the connecting ones.
Yeah. And it's super cool. And it was crazy. It's like when you see that stuff in the shops and then go, oh, he's doing something for me right now. And that stuff just came out. You could see the people like buying it up. And I'm like, okay, this is good. I definitely want to see, you know, different artists on newer books, like depending on, like I said, the success of things. You know, I would love to get even bigger creators to do some variant covers for us as well, just to put that new eye
For
on
sure.
it.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. There's some really, really good artists right now that are still available, I think, for projects within the indie scene that are just on fire right now. So yeah, it makes perfect sense to continue to get at least one or two variants that are done by somebody that when you walk in a comic book store, you're like, you know, he did a cover for me too. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, the main target for me
Oh yeah,
is Rob Liefeld.
oh yeah.
That's
I
that's
mean,
my main target.
he
So
has
if Rob,
done some stuff for indies, so you never know.
if he listens to the podcast, I've asked him a couple times. He's super busy. I see him at conventions. But I will get him. And
Yes.
he, you know, so I will get him.
I
And you
love
know, he
Rob.
was nice enough. He's posted the variant cover that we did. You know, he's a super cool guy. And that's the thing too. It's like
He's a real
some people
comic.
I meet,
He's a real
uh,
comic fan, like big
yeah,
time.
real comic book fan. When you see people at conventions, you really see who they are, and you see the people who have lines and how they treat people, and how see the people who have no lines, you know. And Rob, I see this guy murdering it, you know, and I was like, okay, I need some of that, you know what I mean? Same with V. I saw a lot of people going to V like freaking out, like, whoa, what is this? And then you see some people that they don't do that for, and I was like, I need the guys that have the lines at conventions. That's where I want to go for too. Otherwise, then I'll get my guys that don't go to conventions, Like I want it to go, oh, you picked up the book and now you go get it signed. Like that'd be really cool. And then so that's just one more thing to add. But I'm a big fan of Rob Liefeld, what he's doing with like Last Blood and Deadpool and all that stuff. And I definitely think his art fits Project Naosis,
For sure. For sure. Get a
so
few extra pockets or something drawn, but it'll be well worth it, bro.
yeah, dude, he's so good. And he's
Yes.
retiring from Marvel now and stuff like that. And I would love to get these people before, maybe they exit, or just do their own thing. There's a small window.
Yeah.
Or, there's people that you ask and they blow up, and then now they're too busy,
Yeah.
now I'm going to wait 10 years. So I want great people and people that put out great work. But every person I meet at these comic conventions
Mhm.
or even talk to online, everything's really been extremely wonderful and extremely motivating. I
Mhm.
posted the pictures, like I met Todd McFarlane. He was nothing but nice,
Yeah.
super inspiring, gave me tons of notes. Same with all these guys. It's just all how you present yourself. And I'm a huge fan. So I'm a fan first,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, congratulations, Paul, man. I'm so happy for you. You will hit your goal, no doubt, on episode 5, and I cannot wait for some of your new titles. Is the idea that you start to kind of wander outside of the world that you've created and take on more projects that are new stories and new universes, or you're just doing this one with Eric as kind of a test? Like, how far into this do you want to get? Are you looking to maybe even bring on other writers to write their own stories under your publisher, like a true publisher? Like, what's the long-term plan? A little bit of everything, maybe?
Good questions. We're definitely testing out the waters to see how this book does with Lethal Leopard. This is something different because what I've learned personally is, this is just me talking from a different perspective. I wish all the Project Naosis books were all Project Naosis, meaning the Crimson Payne and One Shot and Omegas were part of Project Naosis. That's something I learned now. That it should have just been adding to the story from the beginning, because something that you hear, and I listen to a lot of Todd and stuff, it's like nothing's more than that 50 book compendium. No one could take that from you, and I want that. So
You can still do that and add those titles at the end as
yeah.
get
I
there,
just
man.
want
Don't beat yourself
more
up.
though, because this would have been issue
Nine.
9 versus issue
Nine.
5. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's that take, right? And I really want to invest everything I can in Project Naosis because I see how people are reacting to it. Even though Omega 29 is the same thing, I'm still going to do that. But I'm building that. I see a lot of people that do this issue, this issue, this issue, this issue. Sometimes some do more, sometimes some do less. But if I keep stacking on one thing, it'll do better. Um, for the Lethal Leopard, if it does well, I am definitely always looking for new ideas and new stuff. Like I have tons of ideas and I have tons of scripts that I have to write because that's the only way I can improve is by constantly making new content, at least for myself, to try to write and do things with. I have one thing in the works that is either going to go with another company or somewhere else. That I'm doing with one of the artists I used to work with. Me and Kyle are working on some pitch that we might use, but we might use it for somewhere else. And then I have some things starting to present myself that people actually are sending me stuff like, hey, I would love to put this with your company. And I really never thought of that prior, like until someone actually was like, hey, I want to do this. So if the stuff is good and they want my resources as how to run a Kickstarter, how to run Indiegogo, how to do the conventions, yes, I could see myself doing it. I have 2 that are maybes. Like I'll give a great example. Like my artist Samuel, who does the books, he has a whole book that he's doing with one of his buddies that he possibly wants to do. And I'll probably take that and put that under visual vibration just
Sure.
because his artwork's phenomenal. And what am I, a clown? Not to take it. I will think that. But for the writing, unless it's like something that's like pre-packaged and given to me, the writing I would all want to do myself because I really want to use my company and these projects as that launching pad to get into Image or to get into DC or to get into Marvel. And that's the only way to do it. Every way is different. No one has the same formula on how to get in. But I've have conversations with people now that are from these industries that the only reason why I have it is because I could say, hey, this is mine. I made this everything and no one taught me. And eventually, through all of the maybes, I will get my yes.
You
And then
will.
I want
Yeah.
those characters. I know because I know the style on how I do my books. I know it will work really well with one of these companies. And I definitely think the way I do my stories, the reason why I do it this way is because I feel like it's kind of missing in some of the catalogs that you pick up. There's like I said, there's great books. I've been picking up amazing content,
Yeah.
but there's sometimes like there's missing stuff. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So like I want that. And I know if I can put myself into there, I know it could amplify everything else.
100% it could. It will. It will, man. That's awesome, bro.
Maybe from listening to your show, I know all the big dogs listen to your show now, and maybe they're like, all right, maybe we give Paul a shot. He's only handed me 7 books already.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, like if you had a chance, give me the one title at DC you would love to get your hands on and the one title at Marvel you would like to get your hands on if you were able to write them.
Marvel, give me Ghost Rider.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
Marvel, give me Ghost Rider. See, like I don't want to go so basic with DC. So I thought of a great concept recently that I think I could do really good with the Flash.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
I think it's Cy Spurrier is on that right now.
Yeah, so I would do something just completely different. Like I feel like with DC, their Black Label or their Elseworlds is such an easy playing
Awesome.
ground
Yeah.
to go and do something with. And then something with Marvel, I would love to do, Ghost Rider. And of course, I would love to do a villain book, which is like the main goal. So those are like, so I would say, okay, we said Flash, and then I said Ghost Rider, and then of course the main targets is Batman and Darth Vader. Those are my, those are everyone says Batman, but who says Darth Vader? I want Darth Vader. I write Crimson Payne. I want Darth Vader. Crimson Payne is like, the version of like the most evilest person you can ever deal with. And I think I can land that well with a more grounded character like a Darth Vader or like, even someone vengeful like Ghost Rider.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, I think you'll be doing it soon, my friend.
I hope so. I see how it works and I see how I do at conventions. And, it was the same thing like Jim Lee, Todd McFarlane, all these guys. They did thousands of entries until they finally were just like, okay, let's take these guys in. And, there is young people in this game, but I don't think there's that many. This is
Oh man. If you look at where DC and Marvel are drawing a lot of their talent, it's not from the indie scene. They're getting them from journalism. They're getting them from like Netflix and directors and screenwriters and stuff like that. I feel like I'm sure there's some people that are writing indies that are getting noticed, but I feel like they've kind of not gone down that path. So there might be a path wide open for you the way that you're taking it because they haven't been looking in this way in a long time, I think.
Yeah, I don't think there has been someone that's doing what I'm doing to get into the industry, like publishing my own books, putting out content, high quality content, because you go to conventions and I go to a lot of conventions and, there's some people with great stuff and there's some people that I can't even believe they're able to get a table at the convention, and I definitely think I'm on that par. Even when I hand this book to people, people go, "Oh, Marvel," and I'm like, "Thank you," but no, people would take offense to that, and I see sometimes people go like, "No, it's not Marvel. This is better." No, Marvel's amazing. Thank you. But this is cool too, and I want to keep that standard. Because even for me, like with my books, I like when I read them, I want to make sure I read them and I don't get tired of them, or like I think it's like I always want to improve as well. I definitely think episode 4 was the best thing I've done, and I'm just trying to give people the episode 4. And then same with episode 5. I'm trying to make sure every issue you can see the improvement. And people that have been talking to in the industry say they've been seeing the improvement, but give your boy a shot. Who has VP sales experience that's in this industry? I don't, not too many. That's how we met,
Yeah.
so
100%, man. And now I'll have you on anytime, man. I love talking to you, Paul, man.
Yeah, I was like, please get me on.
Yeah,
This is the famous podcast comic
yeah,
show
right.
now.
No, it's been awesome, man. I really appreciate you, man. I love everything that you're doing right now, man. All your titles, Crimson Pain. Episode 4 is dope. Crimson Pain is dope too, man. I really like that dude. He is evil as hell, man, and it is such a cool storyline, man.
That was your favorite one?
I think so so far, yeah. But I kind of like that dark, a lot of blood, a lot of death, that type of stuff, man. I just enjoy it.
Yeah, so that was the big thing. Like episode 0, of course, was our launching pad, and that was all about Crimson Pain. And people loved it so much. And the guy who does my back covers, Evan G, really wanted to do something, but he's so busy. He lives in Russia, just it's overcomplicated with things now. And
Yeah.
thank God we did this before all that crazy stuff happened over there. But you know, because they payments and stuff, you can't pay people over there. It's weird.
My artist is in Russia too, in Moscow, and I mean, I PayPal him, but I'm not sure how much longer I'll be able to do that. I'm kind of nervous.
Yeah, sometimes some people don't have things that work, and he does great back covers for me. He does all of our back covers, and I was like, we have to do a book. And I originally wanted him on the original series, but he never had time, you know. So like, of course, you find different people, and we made that book, and we had so much fun making that book. It went from like he uploads these stories, and sometimes he does like his own comic page stories. And I was
Uh-huh.
like, dude, why don't you just do that with Project Naosis? And he's like, yeah. And then it was like, I sent him a 4-page script, then it turned to a 10-page script. And then we're like, yo, let's just do a book, dude. Like,
Yeah,
let's just
yeah.
do a book. And then we did the book, and a lot of people love that one shot. So that's good to know that that's your favorite. It's
That's
definitely crazy.
so dope, man.
Um,
It is nuts, in like the best way possible.
yeah, I want to keep that momentum. And of
Yeah.
course, like it has to get crazier, which is which is it's
I don't
gonna
know
be
how to
hard to
get
do
crazier now, dude.
from episode 0 that we were ripping spines out of people's heads like Predator to you know, it's getting now we're interrogating, we're slicing your hands off, you know, next is, you know, and then Crimson Pain, he sometimes rips it out from their stomach. Like it's crazy. And that's, but I feel like that's the stakes that at least this book needs,
Yeah.
that when you turn the page, you're like, please, I hope my character doesn't die right now. Cause I'm not bringing him back or her back. They are dead forever.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's the whole point. Of course, you could do a prequel and things like that, but for the ongoing story, they are toast. I hear it. There's characters that have died already, and they're like, "Oh, I wish we had more. I wish we had more." No, that's the point. You loved it. We you are moving on. You
Yeah.
know, it's like HBO. You know, when you watch Sopranos or you watch Game of Thrones, it is ongoing. It is moving forward, and even to 35 issues, you know, that's not a crazy amount of issues to be like, "Oh, I have to read 30 issues" or
Yeah.
something like. And
No,
of course,
I got all kinds of compendiums, man. I'd love it, bro. And to be
yeah,
honest,
I want a compendium.
yeah, you'll get it. You'll get it.
So yeah, each one is a little different. So from now on, our volumes are going to be every 4 issues, and this one's 5.
Okay.
But so it'll be 4, 5, 6, 7. So we already have and for everyone that knows that maybe already gets the books. For episode 6, I already have the first 5 pages done in that too.
Oh wow.
So we're getting this thing ready, and I really would hope that I have volume 2 by the end of 2025. Like I said, it all depends on how everything goes. Um, but I definitely think we'll get there. And the volumes too, it's like a lot of people just want the volumes,
Yeah.
especially at conventions. They were like, I was getting so many people once I had all these single issues out. They were like, when's the volume? I just want a volume. And people would actually not buy because they're so scared that an indie book won't finish that arc or something that they don't want to even get involved. But when they see this, they're like, give me this. And then if I get them on that, they usually buy the other singles
Yeah.
after,
Yeah.
you know, because they
They
know
interviewed
we mean
quite a
business.
few independent creators, and they say the same thing. They think more than 50% of their volume comes from their trade once they are able to get to a point where they have a trade. So I think, well, you know, you look at the rest of the world, the rest of the world is driven by trade graphic novels. It's really just the US and Canada that does floppies. You could find them in other places, but trade rules the world everywhere else. And then because you're independent, like you said, I think people are like, I want to get 1, 2, and it's a 4-story arc, and I never see this guy ever again. I'll just wait for the trade. That way I can at least read a story and know there's some sort of completion at the end of it. So that makes sense. But yeah, I don't think they have to worry about you, bro. You're pumping out more than most indie creators, dude. Seriously, it's a lot.
I know, and I see it, and I listen to your podcast, and I listen to others, and I hear like, oh, I got one book a year, or
Yeah.
maybe one book every 2 years. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pushing right now. You know what I mean? Because I really I want to see the story myself. Like, I need to see where it's going.
Right.
And it really motivates me to do that because I do see, like, when I first started the convention, like I said, I was force selling every single person that walked by me. To now it's like people are actually like, oh my God, I really love the story. And like I like what you do with this character and stuff like that. And people are really like getting involved, which is so cool. And it really means a lot, man. It's a really cool experience. And there's nothing like doing the conventions and, you know, selling comic books. Like it's comic books, you know, it's supposed to be fun. And this is the funnest, most fatality filled thing you will read, and the art's really good.
Art is amazing. Yeah.
The writing's okay. No, I'm just
Oh, the writing's good too, bro. No, they're a lot of fun, man. Like I said, it's the most action-packed story that you're probably going to read. And yeah, the stakes are high and death means death. So if you like all of the three of those things, you're going to love this series, man.
So, how would you think if Crimson Payne fought these characters? How do you think that would go for them?
I mean, so far it hasn't gone well for anybody that is fighting Crimson Payne. I mean, I think there's a lot of evil in a lot of the different characters, but I feel like there's more containment of that evil in others, and Crimson Payne doesn't have an off and on switch that works very well. So
Yeah.
I think that in and of itself puts him like a level above anybody else, including Omega, just because he has a little bit more control. And I feel like Crimson Payne doesn't have that same control. So if you don't know when to stop, that means you won't stop. And that's why you could kill 90 million people and it's not a big deal to you. Because I don't think that aspect of his conscience operates like most people. At least that's the feeling I got so far.
Yeah, he's definitely an evil individual. And for episode 6, we will find out why he's so evil. So we have episode 5 right now, and then episode 6, you're gonna find at least partially on why he's the evilest person in my universe. And he's my big bad guy. He's like my Doctor Doom or my Magneto or my Darth Vader. To a higher extent, you know, we're building it around that. And, you know, I want this story to go to the 35 issues. And of course, we're gonna have more characters in between. And I'm building up other guys as well.
You're losing like 2 a issue.
yeah. That's what I'm saying. So that's why we're adding more characters. You got the new Voltage, you got Imperium, this guy coming in. Maybe they get recruited, maybe they don't, who knows? And, you know, and if they're hurt too, and I want to have that effect as well, it's like not all the time they die, but if they're hurt, they're gone for 4 issues or they're gone for 5 issues and things are moving on without them. And I want to have that aspect too. Like a great example was in episode 1, Prince Euro, he was our teleporter and then everyone loved. He's been injured for 5 books. You know, he's nowhere to be found. And he just made his appearance back in episode 4 as like a civilian. And, you know, he really comes back in like episode 6, you know? So like, I want you to like really feel the things that go on in the book. I don't want it to be like, oh, his ribs blew off and he's back in 2 pages. You know what I mean? Like that's crazy. Dude,
you already healed. It's amazing.
yeah, he's good. 3 months later, or not even. It's just like he's back. Like I really want them to feel these injuries unless they are like a high level, high powered super character, you know, like a Crimson Payne or like one of my healers hybrid and stuff like that. So I really have to pick and choose, you know, like the fight scenes can only go so far if I want them around.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Like you said, you go into the book and you wonder, I wonder who's going to make it out alive on this episode. And I think that's cool. I mean, there's not too many titles. I'm trying to think of another title out there right now that has those kind of stakes. And I can't think of any. I know that there probably is, but I can't think of anything on top of my head.
They always come back. In comic books, that's the rule.
Yeah.
People go, it's comics.
Yeah.
For me, I want no. Like, I never will, and this is my rule, I never will take these characters and put them in Lethal Leopard. I will never take these characters and put them in another brand. I've had people ask me that are great creators, oh, let's do a crossover. There's no crossovers. Because that means there's a multiverse. I would say the only way I can get around that is if that character had a birth in my world, that's their character, something like that. But even then I wouldn't do it because I just want to build my thing. And that's the whole point. I feel like that's the big connect is what I want to sell it on is that there's just no multiverse. Like once we get like issue 35, which is my goal, was the original idea for Project Naosis. So I can either cap it right there or we can move forward. That's really how I see it.
35's an omnibus, right? 35's an omnibus.
Yeah, I need it, I need it. And it's actually like real story. Like I'm going through this all the time, each volume, like if it's volume 5, 6, 7, where I'm working now, and just making sure everything works. Because if it doesn't work, I'm not the person that goes, oh my God, things have to stay the same. Things change. And to make a good book, especially one like I'm doing, things change. Like the artists might have a different opinion. My letterer might have a different opinion. I might change my mind, and you got to be ready to delete stuff. Like I deleted a whole book yesterday, which was like issue 14. I was just like, this is garbage. You know what I mean? Like just get rid of it. And then take maybe the 2 little pages that were really good. And then I'm going to work on that and make sure things connect, because I really want to make sure every 4 books, you can really just pick it up and be like, okay, this is a trade beginning, middle, and end. Of course, with an ongoing story. Like the main story is, them trying to take out, Crimson Payne on however that goes. And like the main quest, but still have these other things like filled out. And I really don't want you to hear something and it doesn't really pay off in 4 or 5 issues. Like, cause that's crazy, especially with the long gaps in between. It's not a monthly book. It's like a quarterly book. So
Yeah. No, that all makes sense, man. That all makes sense. That's awesome, Paul, man. Well, congrats, bro. Congrats, man. You're killing it, brother. You
I'm
are
trying.
the salesperson I've ever met at a convention for sure, man. You and what's his name? Ani, who does what's it? Lion, something Lion. Henri? What's his?
I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I'm not gonna think of it right now, but anyways, he also is freaking amazing.
Yeah, I sold at New
Henri
York
Coquette.
Comic Con.
He has
I
War Lion.
sold.
You heard of War
Wait, what?
Lion?
Nah.
So you got to meet. I need to introduce you to Henri, man. I've had him on the podcast. I meet him every time. He also does quite a few, not as many as you, I don't think, but another amazing creator. And his comic book is pretty dope, War Lion. And that guy's outside of his boot. You can't walk by without being pulled over and seeing his book, man. And you and him are like the 2 best I've ever seen, man. You guys just kill it at conventions, man. You're just like the proper aggressiveness for someone who wants to get their story into other people's hands. It's like perfection, man. And you even got your wife with the whole spiel, man. She can boom, 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 boom. You're like, yeah, that's a good team right there.
Because a lot of people think, conventions are hangout spaces, and they're not. You have to push the product. That's why so many of these publishers disappear in 2 conventions or like 2 New Yorks. They're gone. You never see them again. So like I want to make sure we're hitting these margins. I want to make sure we're hitting these numbers. And I know also I can bring those skills to these other companies that I personally don't see there. I've never been sold at a convention. And the people that do try selling me stuff, it's the quality's not there for me to be like, here's $100 or whatever it is. Like I love my Marvel. I love my DC. So, one day we'll have this pre-recorded, you have this memory box down. And when they decide to love me as much as I love them,
just don't ignore me when you're writing for DC or Marvel, bro.
No, dude, how can I not? You have Jeff Johns, you have everyone on this podcast, dude. You have everyone. I personally listen to this podcast because you have so many people on that are in the industry and they have a lot of good takes. And personally, there's really not many shows, if any, that do what you're doing. So, I've been seeing you for the past, 2 years on the come up. Like it's crazy who you're able to get on now. And now reoccurring, they're coming on more than once. They want to promote on here.
Yeah, I love it. I love it, man. No, it's fun, man. I'm very appreciative of the trust, but To be honest, there's so many YouTube channels out there, and I think some stuff is not good, but I just don't build a show around telling everybody how bad it was. It just wasn't for me. It might be something that, in fact, I've had like people who watch my show, they like a title, and I'm like, dude, I can't read it, man. It's just so hard to read, and they
Yeah.
love it. I just keep my mouth closed. I don't want to crap on the person who like. If you like it, then that's obviously written for you, not me.
Yeah, I
So,
get it.
man, it's all good. So I try to keep things positive, and I think that's why people are open to come on because I'm not going to crap on them and I'm not going to crap on them after it, whether I like their stuff or not, man. I want to take more of a journalistic viewpoint of I don't care what your politics are, I don't care what you believe. I just like comics, and I want to create an environment where people can get to know you better. And then they can make their own decision afterwards. I'm not going to talk about good or bad. Just, hey, let's just talk about why you enjoy what you do. So far I think it's worked okay for me. And so that's just the route I'm going to take, man. And then, hopefully people trust that they could come on the show and not have to worry about me crapping on them later.
Well, it definitely is working. I see you post now. You're getting the delivery sent to your house now. You get to
Yeah,
do the reviews now. It's
it's
cool,
fun.
man. It's so cool. It's so cool to see, and it's definitely well put together. Which I'm happy to be on because we rescheduled. I messaged you today, and here we are right now. You're like,
Oh,
let's do this.
To be honest, I'm
So
in the middle of moving. So we live in California now, but my
yeah.
kids live in Texas. So we're moving to Texas. I'm actually in Texas right now at our new spot. So I'm putting my room together right now. So I got stuff all over the ground that I got to still put on the ceiling and on the walls and all that good stuff. So it's been kind of a crazy week. And so, yeah, I apologize. But yeah, you call me if I got a spot open that day, dude. We're doing it, bro. I enjoy it.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I moved some things around too, right? When you told me the time, I was like, let's do this,
Let's
dude.
do this, man. Yeah.
Because you read it too. Like I'm happy, like you said, you don't, you keep your mouth shut on things, but you like my book.
I
So
do
that's
like
great.
your book.
You
Because I
know?
keep buying it, right? So
Yeah.
now someone's gonna like, dude, he hasn't bought my book yet, and I've been on his podcast. I'm like, shit. But
Yeah, and that's the same
I like
thing.
your
Sometimes I get messages that like back my book. I'm like, dude. You know what I mean? Like I need my absolute Batman money.
yeah, exactly. Is that one of the titles that you're enjoying the most right now from Scott Snyder?
Scott Snyder, Scott Snyder and Jeff Johns are like my two favorite writers, and I would say Todd McFarlane too. So that's my three. I love what they're doing with Absolute Batman. I really enjoyed Absolute Superman and Wonder Woman, but I'm really sticking with Batman. Spawn I pick up every single month. So that's a big fan. And then I'm picking up everything Jeff Johns really does. Like I picked up his Hyde Street, I picked up all that stuff. I think it's really phenomenal. And he's one that's like, all these guys hustle, but I see Jeff Johns like at all the conventions too. They're hustling the Ghost Machine. They were at New York Comic Con. They had a good setup. They're really trying to push the product. And he really gets after it. All these guys get after it, and I'm trying to idolize off that. Like even Scott, like I saw that guy's line at New York Comic Con. It was insane. It was insane because usually I can go up to people and now I can like go talk to them, and they're not like, oh, get this guy away from me, But his line was insane. I didn't even want to go buy him. It was like there was like thousands of people ready to go get their Batman signed, which is great. I saw that sold 400,000 copies, which is insane. We're definitely at an up. Everyone thinks we're at a down or a sideways. We are at an up.
Yeah,
400,000 at a $6 book is insane. These
crazy.
books were 99 cents selling a million, but that's kind of the same numbers,
The
if not four times the amount actually, because it was $1 book.
the threshold for success today is 100,000. Like a title that comes out and does 100,000, that's like big news. To do
Yeah.
400,000, because the market's different, right? There's way more publishers today. You have Kickstarter, Indiegogo, Fund My Comic, Zoop. I mean, you name it. There's thousands of indie titles out there, so there's a lot more competition when it comes to comic books today. So to do 400,000 in this environment is gigantic, man. I couldn't be happier for Scott, man. He's a good writer, man. I loved his new 52. Court of Owls is one of my favorite storylines ever. I love that storyline. And I have all of his Batman run here with Greg Capullo. Oh, come on, man. That's like the best art, the most amazing stories of Batman. I love it.
So that's what I'm made from is the new 52. Like that was my big entry point into comics. And every time I see Scott at a convention or every time I see Jeff Johns, I'm like, I am made from your books, dude. Like Like when people say Batman, I don't think like of course I think Frank Miller, but excluding that, I think of Greg Capullo and Scott Snyder's Batman. And Jeff Johns, I think of Jeff Johns as Justice League and Jeff
His
Johns as
Justice
Aquaman,
League, his Green Lantern,
as Green Lantern.
Blackest Night. I name another event that's been more successful outside of like Crisis of Infinite Earths that happened in the 80s. That's probably like one of the largest events ever. But dude, Blackest Night, one of the tightest, most incredible. Oh, look at that bad boy, man. Freaking loved. Jeff Johns is my favorite writer of all time.
Yeah, like he's consistent in a sense of like Geiger, Redcoat, Hyde Street. All this stuff is phenomenal. I went there and I just kept going. Every time I was like, I had to go meet someone real quick or I had to go, see Real One across from the Comic Con. I saw their booth open. I would get like all the signatures real quick and then run back to my booth because I was like, dude, I'm such a fan. And I said that too. I'm like, I said it to him and I'll say it to like Todd. I don't wait on anyone's line if I have to. Like usually I just go right in front and just be like, hey, what's up, dude? Like with them, I'll wait. I'll wait, however long. I'm like, because I get it. Like I see these other people, like I'm a fanboy, so they're super cool and they're super nice, and I love everything that they're putting out. Like Scott Snyder, Jeff Johns, Todd McFarlane, everything they're doing right now is definitely the par right now. And
Rook Exodus, man. We didn't mention Rook Exodus, but that's like in my top 5 of the year of titles, man. The Jason Fabok's art is probably, and he's an amazing artist, probably some of the best art in any comic book ever. Even Redcoat, man, Brian Hitch and what he's doing, dude, it's just, you got this all-star team that has come together. Like, name someone on that's not good. I mean, it's crazy how he's built this company.
yeah, it's insane. It's definitely something I would
Fair,
strive,
man.
and that's another thing. That's another place I would love to work for, is someone like that, like someone that can run a company and do it efficiently, and you can see camaraderie and like everyone's like excited. Like that's the same thing I see with Absolute, and that's the same thing I see anyone that's involved with Spawn. It's like people are hyped, and I feel like that's the big thing too. Is like we also didn't have this social media stuff, and I see the people that are doing the podcast, and I see the people that aren't, and these guys also do all that, so it's part of none, man. They're super inspiring, and I would never say, I'm better than these people ever, man. Those people are like top tier for me,
Yeah.
and those are my inspirations, and I pick up monthly, like if not weekly. My wife's like, you're leaving again, like to go to the store. I'll be like, I gotta bring my daughter out somewhere,
Yeah. It's a family event, man. Come on.
yeah, it's a family event. Geiger just came out,
Yeah, exactly. I love it,
But
bro.
yeah, it's super great, and I definitely think we're on the come up. And even with independent comics, like there's a lot of guys that are doing really well. Like Rippaverse selling $500,000 worth, $1 million worth. That's insane.
Crazy.
Like that is so crazy. And no one, I feel like more people should be looking at that this guy's doing a book every other month, and it's just hitting these crazy numbers for a $25 book.
Name someone who's been more successful over the last year than the Rippaverse. I mean, you can say what you want politically about Eric July, dude. I've bought in everything, and he just gets better and better. And then you got Chuck Dixon, who has written some of my favorite Batman stories ever. Oh my gosh, man. I mean, he's a
Yeah,
legend.
Nightfall was, I guess that would be the other. Like when I think of Batman, I think of that Batman, Frank Miller, and then like that was what I read before the New 52, but New 52 was like I have 1 to 35 on Batman, The Dark Knight Detective, and Justice League and Aquaman and Flash, like all from that stuff. Like, because I just remember I was just getting them every single week,
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm super excited. And I feel like that New 52, that feel is what is going on with DC right now too. So I feel like that's why it's very enticing. Like I've never seen more people picking up comic books like that. And it's also great for me that I can, for Christmas time, I can give someone now an Absolute Batman 1 or a Geiger 1, and they just love it. Or I buy them a nice Gunslinger trade and they're ready to go. I'm trying to get these people into shops,
Yeah, yeah. I love it, bro. Yeah, a lot of good stuff, man. It's a good time to be a comic book fan, and it's a good time to be an indie fan. I use Kickstarter as kind of my second comic book shop. Indiegogo, sometimes there's some pretty cool stuff there, fund my comic, but Kickstarter, I'm constantly going through and just saying, all right, what else is out here, man? This is awesome. and I love backing stuff. So congrats, bro. I mean, you're one of those brands that I wait for something new to come out and I back it right away because it's just the quality is next level, the art is next level, and the stakes are next level. And there's not a lot out there that have as high of stakes for the characters that are in those stories, and I love that about your title.
Yeah, I appreciate that. We're trying to make it crazy, and I'm always gonna try to one up it. And I definitely think episode 5 is the one up. It's crazy, man. It's definitely nerve wracking, even for my artist. My artist is like, "Are we gonna do this?" Like, even when I did the hand chopping thing, he's like, "Are we sure we're doing this? Like, this is cool." Like, for him to say that to me, I was like, maybe it's too far, but I was like, he needs both of his hands removed. So no matter what, it's the point of this. That I was like, Samuel, that's the whole point. I want you to go. Wait, he's not a superhero? Like, no,
What
he's
the
not a superhero,
hell are
dude.
you doing, Paul?
Yeah, yeah. And he gets scared. He goes, every issue, I think you're gonna kill my favorite character. He's like, I don't want to tell you which one's my favorite because you're gonna kill them now. I'm like,
Exactly.
I'm like, nah, they're alive for a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, for a little bit. We'll see. We'll see, man. Well, Paul, man, thank you so much, bro. I always enjoy our conversation, man. You know, you're always welcome whenever you want. Just let me know, and if I can fit it that day, I will. Appreciate you. Appreciate your storytelling and the quality of your titles. Everybody is watching this. I'll put the link below. Get over to Kickstarter. Get Project Naosis right now. Episode 5. Yes, I've been practicing in my mind. I always say Naosis because that's how I see it spelled. But yeah, Naosis, man, get over there, pick up episode 5. You will not be disappointed. I promise. If you like action-packed, high-stakes comic books with amazing storytelling and art, this is the title for you. I promise you will not be disappointed.
I appreciate you for having me on. Super awesome time. Love talking comic books. And everyone back Project Naosis. And if you listen to this later on, projectnaosis.com. We ship everything right to your door. High quality, super action packed. I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you, Paul.
You're still here? It's over. Go home. Go.